And welcome to my YouTube channel YO22 Excel Chapter 8 Prepare SPA Invoice. So project description is Madda Rodates manager of the OSIS SPA want to improve the layouts of the existing and SP invoice and automate the invoice process much to possible ensure the data accuracy and consistency. The invoice currently has a formula into the chart, but often the another problem is this the description to the services not enter correctly and then charge however cannot found to the lookup table. So if you want to complete MylTLab courses is Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Access. We can do online courses accounting, math, stat, finance, economics, writing and other courses. So we move to the main project step. Step number 1 is start Excel, download and open the file name Excel chapter 8 prepare SpaInvoice. Grader will automatically add your last name to the start file name and save the file to the location where you are storing your file. So go to the Excel worksheets. I have already downloaded the Excel file is whole Excel chapter 8 prepare SpaInvoice. Step number 1 is complete and we move to the question number 2. So question number 2 is every formula has precedents and some formula may also have a dependence while you can always select a cells to see the cell reference included in a formula. Sometimes a visual helpful to see how the formula work when you choose to trace dependence and trace the precedent. Excel put arrow on the workbook to show you how to the formula the cell is constructed. These arrow make it easier to find the error just by looking at the cell reference in the formula. So main step is on the invoice worksheets and select the cell F31. Use the trace precedents and trace dependent to look at the formula to make sure they are constructed properly. Fix any error you find. So on the invoice worksheets, go to the Excel worksheets and go to the invoice worksheets and invoice worksheets. Select the cell F31. Use the trace precedent and trace dependents. So select the cell is F31. Select the cell is F31. Scroll down and select the cell is F31 and use the trace precedent and trace dependent to the formula. Make sure that the constructed properly. So go to the formula tabs and go to the formula editing groups. Click the trace precedents and next is trace dependent. Click the trace dependent. And next is at the lookup at the formula. Make sure they are constructed properly and fix any error to you find. So select the F16 to F13 and press enter. So the result is 187 and next value is F33. So question number 2 is complete. We move to the question number 3. So question number 3 is evaluating a formula walk you through the step taking the calculating the result of a formula. You will use the evaluate the formula to fix the error in the cell F33 on the invoice worksheets. Use the evaluate formula to determine what wrong with the formula in a cell F33 and fix the formula. Not mess user to evaluate the formula in the worksheet itself and correct as necessary on the invoice worksheets. So go to the invoice worksheets and use the evaluate formula to determine what wrong formula in the cell F33. So select the F33 and click the evaluate formula, evaluates, and so evaluate the formula and correct the formulas F33, E33 to D33 and press enter and click OK. So the result is 14.06. So question number 3 is complete. We can move to the question number 4. So question number 4 is circular reference is an error in majority of the time in the worksheets indicating a single formula that references itself or a multiple formula that reference each other. The inverse worksheets has a circular reference on the inverse worksheets. Identify and correct the circular reference on the inverse worksheets. Go to the Excel worksheet and go to the inverse worksheets. Inverse worksheets. Identify and correct the circular cell reference. So go to the formula editing groups and click the circular cell reference F35 and change the formula F35 to F34 and press enter. So our result is 201.56. So question number 4 is complete. We can move to the question number 5. So question number 5 is to set up the invoice so that the rows at the top of the invoice don't scroll off the screen when entering data. You will set a freeze pane. In a cell B15, set the freeze pane. So go to the Excel worksheets and select the cell as B15. Select the cell as B15 and select the cell as B15 and set the freeze pane. Go to the view tabs and go to the window groups and click the freeze and select the freeze pane. So B15 is freeze pane. Scroll down and freeze the pane. So question number 5 is a complete. We can move to the question number 6. So question number 6 is you will create a list validation on the therapist field. Only allow the entry from the list to the therapist found on the therapist worksheets on the invoice worksheets. Go to the invoice worksheets and select the cell is E10. Add the data validation using the cell range A2 to A4 from the therapist worksheets as the sources and enter the input message title. Select the therapist and enter the input message. Select the therapist who delivered the services listed it and enter the error alerts title invalid name. Enter the error message. The name you enter is not valid name. Select the name from the list of variables. So select the cell is E10. The cell is E10 and data validations. Add the list in the data validation A2 to A4. So go to the data types and go to the data tool groups, click the data validation. So allow us to list and add the list data validations using the range A2 to A4 in the therapist's worksheets. So click the sources and go to the therapist worksheets and select the ranges A2 to A4, A2 to A4, and select the enter the input message title is select the therapist. Copy the title and go to the input worksheets and title is select the therapist and input messages. Enter the input message, select the therapist who delivered the services listed. So copy the message, input message and paste the input message. Next is enter the error alert title is invalid name. So copy the error alerts titles, go to the error alerts and title is invalid name. And next is enter the error message, the name you are enter is the not valid name, select the name from the list variable. So copy the error message title and paste the error message title and then click OK. Next is click or press filter arrow next to cell eaten and then select the asterisk. So select the error and asterisk, choose the error asterisk. So question number 6 is complete. We can move to question number 7. So question number 7 is the maximum number of hours each SPS services is offered is 2. Therefore, you will create the validation to limits the hours of each services to and enter the decimal data validation for a cell range E50 to E30 to allow for a decimal less than equal to 2 and enter the input message title hours. Enter the input message, enter the number of services hours and enter the warning alerts. Enter the title is invalid value and enter the error message the hours you enter the exist the maximum recommended on the decimal data validation. Cell range is E50 to E30. So copy the range, go to the Excel worksheet and paste the range, press enter. E50 to E30, E50 to E30 and data validation to the decimal less than or equal to. Go to the data types and go to the data tool groups, click the data validations, the settings and click the choose the decimals, decimal less than or equal to. So select the less than or equal to and maximum is less than or equal to maximum 2. Type 2 maximum up to and enter the input message title is hours. So copy the title and go to the input message and the title is hours and input messages, enter the input messages, enter the number of services hours. So copy the title and paste the title is input message is the enter the number of services hours. Next is enter a warning alerts and enter the title to the invalid value. So copy the title and select the error alerts. This title is to invalid value is the warning alerts. So style is to the warning alerts. And next is enter the error message the hours you enter the exist the maximum recommended. So copy the error message and paste the error message and click OK. So question number 7 is the complete. We can move to question number 8. So question number 8 is, in the SpaInvoice workbook, the date entered in the cell E6 should be structured to the current dates or earlier, thus the invoice may not the current dates to the earlier on the invoice worksheets in the cell E6. Go to the invoice worksheets. In the cell E6, enter the data validations. Verify the date less than or equal to today. Enter the input is the invoice data. So select the cell in E6 and data validations. The date less than or equal to. So go to the data tabs and go to the data tool groups. Click the data validation, the setting, and allow us to the date and less than or equal to, less than or equal to, and date is type is equal to, and type the today. Type today and enter the input title is invoice data. Sorry, invoice date. Input title is invoice date. And next is enter the input message, enter the date in the MMDD YY formats. So input message, and next is enter the error, alert title is invalidates. Copy the title and select the error alerts and type the titles invalidates. And next is enter the error message box, features dates are not allowed to be invoiced. Error message. And next is E6 is type is equal to today. And then click OK. Next is select the cell E6 and type the today, press enter. So question number 8 is complete. We can move to the question number 9. So question number 9 is, you will add the validation criteria to cell E8 to ensure that the only time value between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. the SP hours can be entered on the invoice worksheet in a cell E8. Enter the time dates validation that limits entry to start dates is 10 a.m. and end date is 6:30 p.m. The invoice worksheets and in a cell E8. So select the cell as E8. Select the cell as E8 and data validation is to time. So click the data validation and click the setting and allow us to the time, and start time is 10 a.m. So start time is 10 a.m. and end time is 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. And next is enter the input title to the appointment time. Copy the title and go to the input message is title to the appointment time. And next is enter the appointment time as the, copy the input message and paste the input message And next is enter the error alerts to the invalid time. So copy the error alerts. The error alerts is titled invalid time. And next is enter the error message. Error message and then click OK. Next is select the cell E8 and type the 3 p.m. The cell is E8 and paste the time is 3 p.m. So if you want to complete assignments or exam, you can contact on my WhatsApp link and email. If you want to complete MylTLab courses, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Microsoft Access, so I will guarantee you are 90 or 95 plus grades your assignments and exam.